Hello, this is Kevin,
And I'm Ashley.
and welcome to episode 3 of Selling Everett. So, we are in the Delta neighborhood today.
We're in the Delta neighborhood.
More specifically, we are on our first location, which is the Everett Community College Campus and the Wazoo campus as well.
And I think we're in the Wazoo building.
We are.
Yes. And
Yes.
it's very pretty, very new, very shiny.
Go Cougs,
Go Cougs, I guess.
if they're the ones.
Yes. The sports. Go
The
sports.
sports.
Go sports.
Go sports. We're kind of gay, so.
What? What?
If you didn't know.
You didn't know. I just want to do a quick little update. We got stickers, and you'll see them in the video.
Stickers.
We'll probably post about it later. But if you want a sticker,
Reach out to us. Send
call
us a
us. Yeah. Ooh, send us a DM.
DM. Slip into our DMs on Instagram.
Text us. Yell at us from across the street. We've got stickers. They're cute.
And if
Support us.
And if you don't know our Instagram tag, it is Selling Everett Podcast.
This is what it looks like on a water bottle.
Mm-hmm.
It's very nice anyway.
I even have it on my laptop if you're watching on YouTube, guys.
But yeah, give us a call. We'd love to hear from you.
Right?
Feedback is our favorite. Oh, it's quiet now.
It's quiet now. So we'll try not to be too loud because we're on a cool campus and they don't know we're here. So we're secret agents today.
Don't tell them.
We're
Thanks.
students for all intents and purposes.
We've enrolled.
We've enrolled. I'm getting some college courses done. So what's happened since last time? So last time we've met was back end of December. We are midway through January right now, but when you guys hear this, it'll be beginning of February.
Probably. Yep.
So inflation's going down essentially. The CPI report came out today on January 12th, and it actually improved just a little bit, which is optimistic, right? I think.
I think so. I mean, I hope so.
I'm optimistic about it.
I'm optimistic as well. I think, well, even last week rates were down, and I felt like everyone was like, lock them, lock them, lock them. And I was like, oh my gosh, what's happening? So if that's insight of maybe, I know it went back up a little bit, but I'm hoping for a little downturn.
So something that people don't realize is even though the feds have their own funds fund rate that they fluctuate up and down as they see fit to combat inflation, mortgage interest rates actually track inflation. So as more inflation goes down, interest rates for mortgages also decrease, which is fantastic.
Woohoo!
Right? So, and that's a good measure of how the policy for the Fed is actually going about. So hopefully by summertime, beginning of May, we should see some even more positive
That would be nice.
market improvements.
That would be nice.
Right? But people are still buying and selling
Oh, no,
houses, right?
totally.
Yes.
And I think that I hope with like how the market is going, seller concessions, aka money back to the buyer to buy down those rates, continue. I think that that's just kind of a healthy market in my mind, and it's helping everybody out and like making sure you can get the repairs done or whatever it is that you're looking for in like your future house. And
I think so.
I want that to continue. So
Like actual negotiation.
yeah,
process.
I missed it. It's nice. It's weird to have it back.
It's a little comforting.
Comforting. I
It is
like it.
comforting.
I guess in mortgage news, did you see this week Wells Fargo is not going to do
Is-
mortgages anymore?
Only to their private clients. So
Private clients. If you're a private client, congratulations. Everybody else, sorry.
what? So here's the thing, right? So big banks, very hard to compete with right now on low interest rates.
Mhm.
Essentially, they are losing money
Yeah, they are.
when they're giving you those low interest rates for mortgages. But the purpose is to get your additional money and to get essentially your wealth, right? Is kind of why they're gearing their mortgage business now towards their private clients, is to help offer more of a service and a plus thing to their actual money management system. So that's what we have to compete against, and
Yeah.
it's not because they want to help people, in my opinion.
Right. And honestly, like I've closed a Wells Fargo before. Wasn't the easiest process.
No.
I feel like it took way longer than it needed to, and just a lot of hoops to jump through. So
They do.
if there's one thing that I am taking away from this is one less stressor with a certain type of lender. And it's not the lender's fault. It's the bank's fault, right?
It
'Cause
is
at
the
the end of the
bank's
day, it's
fault.
just the bank. So
Right.
yeah, seeing some changes. I
It
don't
is
think it's
crazy.
gonna affect us negatively as a market or anything. Like, they didn't
No,
have that big of a hold, but everyone's just shocked that they're
just
dropping out.
for those that don't see a profit it any longer, they're dropping out,
Mhm.
or being absorbed by other companies
Yeah,
too. So I think that's it's not that the market is crashing. It's just those individuals' business and business plans just do not fit into this market that we are in right now.
totally. There's a big shift. It's interesting to see who's moving where and where they're going and what's
Hmm.
happening, and I think, again, nothing negative of it. I think there's always gonna be a business model that matches,
The
like, my own
market,
business and the market the way
yeah.
I want it to, and I wanna reflect it that way, so I switch. So,
So I switch.
yeah, we have someone walking near us.
It is interesting though when because most of us in the industry take a collective breath at the beginning of the year
Yeah, we do.
because we
It's kinda
know how
nice.
the year ends, but we don't know how people in the market is going to react into the new year. So literally the first quarter, so January, February, and March, literally collective gasp, and we're gonna
Totally, but then it's,
see what's
like,
happening.
straight chaos of, like, how do I prep for the spring, and can I, like, entice those people to, like, maybe list their houses and or
Yeah.
go under contract in February or March instead of, like, waiting April,
And
May, June, because the summer, always hit or miss. It's either gonna be
it
a mad
is.
rush or it's gonna be just kinda slow, everyone's hanging out, going on
If
vacation.
To be quite honest, especially here in the greater Seattle area, if mortgage interest rates get to around 5%, it's going to be a very busy summer.
Totally.
Um, Especially for those, and I'll just take this as a little bit of a warning. Right now is probably the best time to purchase a house, even though interest rates are a little bit higher, because we can be more negotiable. We can
Mm.
get you more money and we can save you money out of pocket, which I think is vastly more important than saving on an interest rate that we know you're going to refinance in 3 to 5 years.
Totally. And or, like, even maybe even sell the house
Or
and then
sell the
recoup the
house,
money. I mean,
right?
prices have come down in Washington State as a
They
whole,
have.
which has been nice to see, but Everett averaged up a little bit, where
Yes, we
it's I
did.
saw that at my average price when I was running numbers, I was like, "Oh, who knew?" 631, about 631,000 and
Okay.
some change is kind of the average number for Everett.
It's at
Yeah, 12
12.1%.
one it's I did it over a year's time, so that
Okay.
was,
Whatever is from last
yeah,
year.
yeah, yeah. That was pretty good. New listings real far down though. It was like,
No one wants to move in the holidays
yeah,
anyway.
no one does, and I'm
It's like,
like,
"No,
ugh.
no, I wanna eat my
Um,
food."
yeah. So homes for sale was only about 236, and pending sales though about 2,000. So I mean, the homes that are coming on the market, they are going to the pending section pretty quickly.
That's good.
But I am seeing, and I don't know. I mean, I think we talked about it last week. Still a few offers going on each house. The last one I just
Mhm.
put an offer on, there were 3 other offers. I think you mentioned one that had, like, 6 offers or 7 offers,
I
so
recently had one where it actually was quite competitive, but to the listing agent's kudos, because that listing was immaculate,
yeah.
and it was perfectly staged, it was a fantastic neighborhood, it was a fantastic house, just everything about it was perfect, and I was like, "Oh, yep, you priced it appropriately,
Right.
and you knew what you were doing," and, we tried to compete. We did. We were very competitive, but we still got beat out.
It
So,
happens.
it does still happen.
I
So,
think that those listings are the ones that I'm always trying to, like, show my sellers and be like, "Look, when you do it
hello.
correctly,
When you do
you're
things right.
pending in, like, 4 days." Whereas right now, like, the average was what do I have for my average? I think 15 days,
Yeah.
17 days for the Everett area as a whole. The
Which
Delta neighborhood was a little bit lower, 15 days.
15
So it looks
days.
like everyone wants to be living in the Delta area.
What's
Delta area is kinda big though, so
it's the northeast corner of the
I
almost the Everett
I
Peninsula.
call it, like, the reversed thumb thing, and, like, North Everett is this thumb.
The thumb.
Yeah, and at the very end, there's a bridge that hops you
And
down to
there we go.
Marysville or I guess up to Marysville,
Up to
and
Mary's.
then we're off to the right, the east of
Okay.
Broadway. But yeah, houses here average about 587,000.
Still attainable.
Still attainable, still
Yeah.
great. A lot of historical houses too, which I love. And sorry, I'm looking out the window because there's so many things to look at.
Which is great because we are on location. And what you'll see out this window is the street Broadway, right? So that's the one that actually bisects kind of the downtown Everett
Totally,
area.
yeah.
So on one side you have the Delta neighborhood, and then just on the other side you have the
Oh,
Northwest neighborhood.
yes, Northwest. I almost said something else. That's not
It's
right.
not Bayside.
It's not Bayside, it's
Bayside's
Northwest.
below
And
Northwest.
Northwest is where the Providence Hospital sits. So if you're listening and you're like, where are they talking about? That's kind of a better gauge, I feel
It'll be
like.
next on our list. Fear
Next on
not.
the list.
Right? That's why you're here with us to go
That's
to the.
why. But yeah, we got a nice little area of roads up north, and then this beautiful new building that's been put in. And right, I mean, you can't see it because you're not looking at it, but in front of us is the future. What are they calling it? I forget. Did it have a
It's.
name?
I don't think there's an actual name
Yeah.
for it, but it is an expansion of the
Yeah.
Everett Community College Campus with their partnership with Washington State
Mhm.
University. It's just a continued expansion of their satellite campus,
Yeah.
and which I think is fantastic, right? It's just another thing that Everett has. It portion of it can be called a college town.
I've been kind of hoping for it. I like it. I think it's cool. Obviously, housing comes into that, and
Yeah,
our job then is to, like, woo the new kids into the, "Hey, Everett's pretty great. You should
we're
stay and,
pretty
like,
sick.
make your life here and, like, buy a house." So, ultimately, that's my end goal. But, I just like the college vibe and having that interaction with the younger generations and helping them grow and having that community attached to it.
Hmm.
So, those are things I'm just excited about.
What's really great too is not only is there that expansion of the EVCC college campus, but just a few blocks away, where there is technically affordable housing, there'll
Yeah.
be an expansion of the Park District.
Definitely. And we just learned that the affordable housing right now is old army barracks,
Yes.
which I think is kind of cool.
And
I
being that I was in the army, I can only imagine.
Right.
So
Yeah, so we got older housing there, and then they're going to be building, I feel like it's couple zones. Did I read something about like 3 zones, 4
th-
zones,
they'll
something like
have
that?
about 3 to 4 zones. Will be a mix of higher density affordable housing,
Yeah.
and then townhomes, and then they'll even have some commercial space too. So some business fronts will actually be in the midst of a neighborhood, a mix amongst the schools, the different parks that we have there, which I think is a huge and positive thing for the Delta neighborhood.
As I'm
So
thinking about, maybe we'll get a new grocery store.
a new grocery store too.
We only have like 2 in the North Everett neighborhood. I guess 3 with the co-op. I'm trying to think if I have any other in my head that no, just 3. I just would love more
The Triangle
options.
Outpost.
That's not really, I mean, it's a grocery store, but it's more like farmer's market in the summer,
Oh, that's
and
true.
it's not open year round. But I do love the Triangle Post. If you've not been to the Triangle Post, let me tell you a story about the Triangle
Go for
Post.
it.
Has ice cream
Ice
and
cream.
waffle cones that are like handmade, and they're amazing. So in the summer, after doing all your yard work and whatever you're doing, running, being active, because the daylight is until midnight,
Yes.
ice cream. And so good. And then they have a little like stall area
Hmm.
with all kinds of fruits, vegetables, some small grocery stuff, but nothing like wild. It's more like chips and guac and things like that. But I love that stuff.
Yeah.
So I'm okay with it.
I like the location of the Triangle Post. It's kind of cool.
It is. It's so cute. It's the big red building, kind of looks like a farm in this like weird little
It
sliver
does.
off of East Marine View. So we got Broadway here behind us. It just kind of wraps around and it's going south. You'll see the red
Hmm.
building that's got the snacks and goodies in it.
You can't miss it.
You can't miss it.
It's at like a four-way,
Yeah, for something.
five-way
Yeah.
intersection. You can't really miss
Yeah,
it.
no, it's weird.
You'll
It's
know. You'll know where it is
you'll
because
know
it's a
what it is.
triangle.
Across from there is a Fran's Bakery. I don't know if you knew that.
Fran's Bakery. Yes.
Bread. And I
If you
think
are
they
a
sell
fan.
bread and other goodies there on site. I think there's like a little
Yes.
store. My mom
Yes.
used to go to it. I never knew where it was until I moved up here and I was like, oh, there it
Yeah.
is.
Not
So,
just a distribution point, but it is an actual point
yeah.
where you can go in and get some bread from Franz.
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 Franz. It smells good. I like their bread.
I don't think you can argue with the smell of fresh bread. So,
No, yeah, I love
regardless who bakes it.
love bread and cheese and cheese. Don't get me started on cheese.
Right.
What's other things about the Delta neighborhood? There's
Well, Jackson Park,
oh
which is
yeah,
one of the bigger parks in the Delta neighborhood, is actually getting a new dog park on 17th and Chester.
heck yeah, it is. We need
So
more dog parks. We don't really have
we do not.
any. The only other one I can think of is Lowell, which we'll get
Yeah.
there eventually, and the riverfront down in Lowell. So there's 2 for Lowell,
Hmm.
and then everybody else just has wild dogs. So yeah, Jackson will be a good one, right? I'm thinking
Yeah.
there's no other dog parks.
But the thing too with dog parks is like, yeah, you can take your dog to a park, But in Washington, right, there's leash laws. You're
Mhm.
technically supposed to leash your dog outside of fenced off areas and all that other jazz because you can't account for other people's dogs training.
Right. I've heard horror stories. I don't have a
So
dog, and I
I
keep
do.
hearing all kinds of
I'm
stories.
paranoid because of my dog. I was
Yeah.
like,
I
mm-mm,
think I'd be paranoid too. So dog parks,
more
that's the
dog
win.
parks.
Jackson Park's huge though. I
It is.
mean, there's all kinds of stuff. And when we were doing our research of the Delta neighborhood, there was a pedestrian bridge that was supposed to be attached from there. I think it got scrapped in like 2008. So I'm with the Delta Association. And whatever I need to sign, I'll sign. I don't live in Delta, so that might be an issue, but a pedestrian
Mhm.
bridge that'll take us down to Smith Island.
Yes.
And I don't Kevin said you've never been there?
No.
Okay, I'm gonna take Kevin one day because it's great.
So the problem with it is one, it's a great park and it houses the Everett Rowing Association
It does, yep.
as well as our um, water treatment facilities too.
And it's like the Langley Park, and you can fish off the dock there.
Hmm.
So it's got like awesome stuff to do down
Hugely
there.
popular.
Yeah.
The caveat is that you have to literally leave Everett,
Yes.
pretty much go to Marysville,
Yes.
turn around on another street, and then head back towards Everett to
I
get
don't
to
know
this
why.
little island.
Yeah.
So I think the advocacy for the Delta neighborhood and even the Riverside neighborhood, because
Right.
they would be of benefit to this, is putting a footbridge across that way, which I know they're actively working on still.
Totally. It just makes sense to do a footbridge and a bike thing because again, it's a great park. And I think
Yeah,
if so you do not actually smell the waste treatment. I will just say that, but walking around it, it's gotta be
it's huge.
it's like Green Lake. I feel like when I walk the whole
It's like
thing,
a
I've
private
walked the
lake.
like whatever 3 miles that it is.
That's
But
very nice.
it's full of wildlife. There's eagles, birds, otters, all kinds of stuff. And then when you're going south in that park, there's another park where there's actually like hunting available and stuff like that. Like it
Hmm.
goes even farther and deeper in there
I
through the
think that's
slough.
EB Island.
Yeah, EB Island
That's
where
the
there's
next island
hunting.
up.
Yeah.
Yep.
So I recommend it. That's one of my favorite places to go walk around. I can do it all the time if I wanted to. But if I can get there quicker via
If you could
bridge,
just walk across the river.
that'd be great because I hate having to get on the freeway and then like figure out
It,
which exit it is. And
so it's
no.
funny when we were researching this, is because technically the Delta neighborhood stops at the Snohomish River, right? That's just
Yes.
our natural border, is the
Mm-hmm.
river, right? Because we can't build houses on
Ooh, houseboats.
rivers yet.
I
Kind
mean,
of,
I love me a
sort
good
of.
houseboat. Anyway,
Um, they do have some,
they do.
but it's just interesting because even Smith Island and all of those islands out there are technically part of that neighborhood too.
Right. And
Just
so
inaccessible.
yeah, we just can't get to them. So that part isn't very fun. But they're pretty. I recommend it.
They are.
Definitely, something to do worth the little 5 to 10 extra minute drive that you have to do to get down there,
Hmm.
but it's a good little hangout area.
It is.
And I believe you can kayak the Snohomish River.
You can.
I think you'd be fine. I don't know that it's like anything too fast or anything. And I know that your best access point is probably the Lowell
Yes.
riverfront access space, but you could go all the way out to the sound, where then it would get a little sketchy. Don't do that.
So I live by the river, so I see the kayakers. I see the rowing association up and down the
Row,
river.
row,
They have the
row,
megaphones on in the
row.
morning, so you hear them out. I was like, "Wow, guys, you guys are determined." And then you do have like people's jet skis and boats that they take
They
up
do
and
jet skis out there?
they do.
What?
They probably go a little faster than you're supposed to on a river by
Good to
residential.
know,
Just so you know, there are
everybody.
speed limits on
I do see the
waterways,
boats. Yeah,
but it's yeah.
my mission last summer was to go kayaking in there because I have 2 kayaks and
Hmm.
I failed miserably. So that's this year's new mission is to go kayaking. Maybe you can use the other kayak. It'll be fun.
I could try.
Yeah, why not? I was also gonna say the rowing. I'm gonna put it out there in the podcast world. In the summer, they offer classes,
Do they know?
and it's like a learn to row course. I forget how
Hmm.
many weeks it was. I'll have to figure it out for you all. But I told Kevin that we should totally do it because that just sounds like a fun exercise thing. And it's like later at night. It's like 7 to 9 p.m. or something wild. So that sunset rowing, I don't know, sounds
In
fun
the summertime?
in the summertime.
That's light enough in the
I
summertime.
know. So it's just like an
Won't
activity
be
to do.
too hazardous.
Yeah. So instead of doing any other workout, it's just rowing.
It's just
We would
rowing.
probably throw our backs out. It's fine. We'll be fine. It's gonna be okay.
We're the older millennials, so just ugh.
I'm having back problems already. It's fine.
But what I think too is one of the major features of the Delta neighborhood that just provides access to across the river is the Ebbie Slow Bridge,
Hmm.
or the Snohomish River Bridge,
Yeah, I guess we were
whichever
Googling it,
one.
and it's got 2 names.
Yeah.
And
But it's interesting is because it's actually a drawbridge of
it is
sorts.
a drawbridge. I've never seen it go up, but I've been, like, stuck because it when you're going across it, it'll beep and it'll yell. I've never heard actually what it's yelling at you, but it, like, tells you to stop, and there's lights to stop
Mhm.
you because it's technically 4 bridges, isn't it?
So, yeah, so there are 2 closest to Everett, and then there are another 2,
Closer to Marysville.
closer to
Yeah.
Marysville, but what they essentially do is they'll just raise it up so they can let the boats go
Mhm.
back and forth.
And there's not and I guess it
Not a whole
also
lot.
just depends on, like, the river levels
That too.
because when it's raining like it is
It's
today,
much higher.
oh, the river's so high, and I love watching it.
It's a little
So,
flooded.
when it's low, though, it's crazy how low it can get.
I was like, "Oh, look, mud."
I know, but it's like you're right next to the sound, AKA ocean water, right? And
Mhm.
it's just super low
Yeah.
under those bridges. So I enjoy when I'm going over. I'm like, "Ooh, what's happening today? Where's our water levels at?" So,
Right?
yeah, no, it goes up and down, does all kinds of stuff. I really think it's a pretty bridge. One of my
Yeah.
favorite views when you're going across, you got a cascade view going northbound. Well, anyway, so north or southbound if you look over to the east.
On a clear day,
Mhm.
which these last couple of weeks have been some of the clearest, even though there
Yeah.
has been overcast. Like, I have had clear views of the
Yep.
Cascades, the Olympics, and
Mhm.
Mount Rainier on, like, a literal daily
And Baker
basis,
and the
and
sisters.
Bakers,
Yeah,
and
no,
the
it's
sisters.
been wild. I've
So
been really
just
enjoying
so, like,
it.
360, like, you have to be careful. Well, I'm usually looking at it when I'm driving,
Yeah, me
so it's
too.
very hazardous for my health.
My issue is speaking of Broadway, Broadway will run you all the way south until you get to,
Mhm,
like, South Everett, and I don't know if you I try to get off of I-5 and I'll take Broadway north,
mhm,
going past the cemetery, and when you're going north, it kinda turns right to take you onto Broadway, like, the regular road that's
yeah,
in downtown. It has one of the best views. Like, every time I'm going open over, I'm like, "Oh my god, I'm gonna die because it's just mountains and
yes,
gorgeous, and right now they're all snow-capped, so you can't not be in wow
right.
while you're going over that section, and then I always laugh because 'cause I'm like, "Oh, if I die, the cemetery's right there." So there's, like, a double thing there, a little
Don't die.
morbidity. I'm not gonna die anytime soon. Sorry. But yeah, the views. So good.
But yeah,
I don't do we wanna talk about some of the houses in the Everett area? Some
we
stories? We have a
do.
couple things that we know about
There
the Everett
is
area, well,
s
Delta area.
so what probably some of them most notable is the Donovan house,
Mhm.
which we found out. Apparently it was moved.
Bunch of them are moved. So, um, I was gonna say not Providence is the hospital. I was like, "What's the name of the hospital?" When Providence was built, it was just kind of the one big building, I
Mhm,
think, and then I guess there was an expansion done, and a lot of the houses that were there were historical, like,
right.
1890s to 1920s,
Original.
and the city was like, "Hey, we need to salvage as many as we can." And
Mhm.
I was reading this morning, I think we lost about 200 of them, though. So, like, they were only able
That's
to move
bad.
about 80 to 100 of them, which is sad. Um, I really like the old houses. I have seen them before when I go on my walks, and the Donovan homes said that he settled here around the 1900s, and he
Mhm.
would sell the houses and the plans, and it was only like $5,000, which I need to figure out how much money that is in today's money, but I feel like it's gotta be pretty low.
By next one, that'll be our homework, is to figure out what the actual conversion of
Right,
value is,
5,000 for a
right?
house. Like, what? And it was supposed to be kind of, again, going back to our past, the loggers community type thing. Because I think it
Mhm.
said it was like a 2-bedroom, 1-bath little house. They all had a very similar floor plan. And
Right.
so when they started moving them, there's Donovan Lane that's in the Delta neighborhood. And I'm not
Yes.
sure how many are there, but I would put that on your list of things to just go check out because those are all historical Everett homes. And I was also reading that if you take Highway 2 towards Monroe, there's a bunch of them there too, because that's where he lived.
Oh,
I know. So
okay.
what? So there are still some that are near Providence, but they're a very distinct kind of look. They have one
Very
that's a cottage and then one that's a
cottage style.
Tudor. And the cottage one, I always say it kind of looks like it has eyes. It has the like rounded windows up
Okay.
on the top. And there's like, I think there's 3 of them. But once I show you a picture of the design, everybody will be like, oh yeah, I've seen those before. So they definitely are a thing.
Yeah,
But
but they were
yeah,
perfect for single families during, for the
totally.
mill workers,
Yeah.
as they were growing as a logging
And
community.
honestly, they're still pretty great for our community. I know that
Yeah,
we have a lot of, I guess, millennials moving up to the area, and some have kids, some don't, but 2-bedroom does the job. Obviously,
it is
everybody
a
wants a little bit more, but you don't need that much more. I have a 2-bedroom. It's okay. I do wish I had a third sometimes,
to
but
be honest, I have a 4 bedroom. It's way too many.
Too many
It is way
bedrooms.
too many bedrooms. I was like, I had to convert one of the bedrooms to an office recently. I'm like, oh my goodness, this is a lot of work. So
Yeah,
may have been a bit more ambitious than we should have.
it
It
happens.
does happen.
I'm just looking for
It was still well under our budget when we
I
purchased it
know.
at the time, and I was just like, oh,
My new mission is to build up on my house. Cause like where my master bedroom is right now, primary bedroom, sorry,
yeah,
um, it we can build up. And if I
yeah,
were to build up, because I've stood on the roof up there, I have a view of the mountains. And like how cool would that be to have like a mountain view from your
selling
bedroom?
point.
A selling point, but also just for me. So that's my new thing is to build up. So I need to make more monies to do such. And we'll work on that. That's my new life goal.
That's your new life
That's my new
goal.
life goal. Build up.
Renovation.
Have I had 2 new life goals this video? I think I have. I've already forgot the first one.
It's
I should
never
write
too
this
much
down.
to have too many goals in
That's
life.
true. I guess what else is left in the Delta neighborhood? On the riverside,
Yeah,
there's a big old Amazon building
there
now.
is.
So we get Amazon deliveries pretty quickly
Very
because of that. And it's a pickup spot for what do they call it? The Amazon.
It's like industrial area or
Well, no,
something.
but they have like the people that are Amazon flex employees. So like you and
Oh
I could
yeah,
like sign up to be a flex employee.
use
So
your
you're
personal vehicle.
right, use your personal vehicle. So it's
Hmm.
a pickup spot for people there, which is really cool. And then there's like a cement quarry. There's a bunch of stuff down there.
Yeah,
And I think
there's just a lot of just industrial space right by the river, and
totally
again, that harkens back to just the logging
right.
community,
That's where the
right?
logs went.
That's how you transported it, and still is technically.
That
There's
is
a lot right
true.
by there.
You can see it. This is going too far, but in Marysville, a little bit farther
Uh huh.
north on the water, they'll have
They have
logs in
all
the
their
water all
logs
the
on the
time,
side.
which is fun to see.
You just float it down the river.
It makes
Easiest,
sense.
right? Better than a truck moving across.
Totally. Because who wants to do Final Destination behind one of those trucks?
We
Not
no, thank
me.
you. Trauma.
Trauma. So
Interesting that we both
exciting.
said
I
trauma at the
know.
same time.
Twins. But with the Amazon building, I was going to highlight, I think they'll continue to do it 'cause it's been 2 years in a row.
Hmm.
During the summer, I think last summer it was Wednesdays during lunch window from like, I don't know, 11 to 2-ish. They have food trucks down there by the Amazon building.
Oh yeah, that's right.
And you can kind of be near the river. And I went down there a handful of times to have lunch. It was always kind of a rotating food truck. So there's 3 or 4 of them. So
We do get some good food trucks up
we do
here.
get some good food trucks. So I'll keep an eye out on that and we'll definitely post when we
Oh my
see
goodness,
when
we
that's
should
happening.
totally make a post about random food trucks that we find in neighborhoods.
Yes. I think
I'm going to assign that to you.
that is it El Mariachi, the taco friends?
Yeah.
They have a food truck and I think that they should just ice cream truck it down the roads. Like just come by my house. I want some
So I
tacos.
think taco food trucks are like the adult equivalent of an ice cream truck as a child.
Yes. Yes. I
I
would
think
chase it if I
I
had
think
to.
most adults I think most young adults would just chase after and go after
Yeah.
mobile tacos.
Tacos. I love tacos and they have great tacos.
Yes, they do.
So, and they're in one of our new neighborhoods. So we'll get to them eventually. They're down south.
Oh yeah, that's right.
They got a new spot plus the taco truck. I know.
Congrats to them.
I
I love it.
know. I know. Is there anything else about the Delta neighborhood we want to talk about?
No, I just it's nice to see, especially as we go through this, we really want to cover like just the actual growth.
I got one more
Um,
thing.
Go for it.
That tree initiative that they're doing.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
that's
they want to
right.
make Delta neighborhood more green, and I did not get an official like tally of what's happening, but there's a map,
Mm-hmm.
and they coordinated with the city and got a grant, and they're putting in free trees in the neighborhood. So like in your
Trees.
property, maybe on like one of the little green
Mm-hmm.
strips by the sidewalk, things like that. So definitely, if you're in the area and you live there and you're wanting a tree, maybe reach out to your association to figure out how to get one because
Yeah.
they're free. They come do the digging. They're doing it all. But I'm just excited to see more trees.
What's worthy
I
of
love
note
it.
too, especially of Everett and its older communities and things like that, and its neighborhoods, is while your street might not have what's considered an HOA or
Mhm.
housing homeowners association, but the community and neighborhood as a whole actually has an association. They're not, they don't collect fees or anything like that. It's purely volunteer organizations, but they're really there to help just make betterment for the
Yeah, and I
community. Keep
don't
an eye on for everyone.
I don't know that any of us have a true HOA. I
I
think it's all just
I
associations.
do,
You do? Okay,
but
I
I have
lied.
new.
Sorry, Kevin has one.
We'll get to
He's
that.
got new construction. We'll get there eventually. But all the other neighborhoods, I don't know that any of them make them pay.
No,
Maybe 1 or 2, but
No,
yeah, I think it's all free associations that are doing their
just
best.
volunteer work and
Yeah.
getting grants and finding monies that they can use to help
Mhm.
better the community. So, which is fantastic. And these communities are pretty old and people are pretty tight knit.
Mhm.
People have lived here for
Yeah, and now
much, much longer.
I mean, yes, there's new blood coming in, but there's definitely like the old Everett crowd and like this generational situation, right? Where people have
Hmm.
inherited homes and stuff like that. So there's all these people that have just really truly been around forever and, making it a greener, better place for everybody, I think
Yeah,
is kind of a true goal for all the neighborhoods
I
is
would agree.
how do we make this the best place in Washington?
I do have something, and I shared this with Ashley a couple weeks ago, but I was
Oh no.
teaching a homebuyer class,
Oh yeah.
and they're from Everett, which I found fantastic. I was like,
Mhm.
"Hey, neighbors, how's it going?" And they described Everett because they had moved up from Seattle as what Seattle was 10 years ago
Mhm.
in terms of its community, its walkability, its strive for
Yeah.
small businesses to flourish and just be a community, which I thought was fantastic. So I was like, give me a little bit more pride of where I like
Right.
to call home. So,
Yeah, no, this is home. I don't see myself moving anytime soon. I enjoy it here. And
hmm,
yeah, if you ever see us out in the wild, everybody, come say hi to
holler.
us. Holler, yell at us. We love it. I'll
Or you
yell
can send us a
back.
DM
Yeah.
afterwards and say, like, hey, I was stalking you.
Please talk. We not like in a serious way though. Like, in a just come like my post on Instagram kind of way. Thank you very much. But yeah, we'd love to interact with everybody and get
Yeah,
to some feedback and yeah, just get our views
totes.
going and everything. Come join us.
Yeah. But again, if you, wherever you are listening, whether you're watching us live on YouTube and all of our wonderful, wacky expressions, or if you're listening on Apple Podcast, Google Podcast,
Spotify. I'm
Spotify,
trying to think if I think we're on one more.
I don't
Anchor
know.
FM, which is like our hub, but I feel like we're on
We
one
upload it
more.
and then we put it out to the world.
Yeah, it just goes out to everybody. So if we're not on one of like your preferred things, let us know
Let
and
us
we'll
know.
figure it out. That
And
would be cool.
yep. And again, you can follow us on our Instagram as well at Selling Everett Podcast. All one word, no
All one word.
dots.
And yeah, and if you can find us, we'll give you
We
stickers.
have stickers. We travel with the stickers,
They got the like little skyline and they're blue and they're cute.
and
But
they're
yeah, please
cute.
come get a
Awesome.
sticker.
But anyways, well, until next time.
Until next time, it was great talking to you.
Yes, my name's Kevin,
And I'm Ashley.
and we'll see you guys in the neighborhood.